That would be quite a fun one.
Hmm.
Just to see the Big Ten look different, it just amazes me how different the Big 12 looks now going into
Hmm.
next year.
Hmm.
There's no Texas, there's no Oklahoma because they'll be coming to the
They're
Southeastern
going to
Conference.
be coming to the SEC.
So it's interesting to see how they did this. Now they did order it to 2027, so they're already 4 years ahead.
Yeah, they're locked in. They're locked in.
But any matchup that's surprising to you right now, looking forward to next season in the Big 12.
No, no. Everybody get busy, get on the field, and play ball. Nothing. Nothing looks like. Nothing stands out yet. I'm just waiting for all the recruiting wars to happen.
That's gonna be a
Once the
fun
re-
one.
and once the recruiting wars start happening, then you figure out. Then you'll figure out, and you'll see which matchups will supersede over others.
Good point. They are keeping the Holy War together because BYU will be traveling to Utah next season.
Good, good.
You might be able to call that game, Snowman.
I just might. I just might have to do that one.
So that's something to look forward to next season with
Hmm.
the Big 12. All right.
And there's a lot of them.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot.
It's a lot.
All right. We're going to take our first break of the show. Then when we come back, we got to recap the weekend, and I'm not looking forward to it whatsoever.
When he is.
Oh my God. We'll be back.
Welcome to Ringside Chaos, the professional wrestling discussion segment of the Bear of Texas podcast. The only professional wrestling podcast in the world where pro wrestling is discussed passionately, with confidence, with great knowledge, and most of all, in the most sophisticated way. So brace yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, because chaos is about to be unleashed. Thing with Tony Khan now being in talks to buy WWE, I'm going to be honest with you. I spoke to this with Ricky Litwinkowicz, aka the Master of Mayhem, and he honestly believes that me talking about Tony Khan buying WWE is basically I'm kind of wasting my time because Ricky believes it's never going to happen. Okay, now don't get me wrong, Ricky, I respect what he says. He could very well be correct. But I gotta be honest with you, the fact that Khan is interested in supposedly buying WWE, to me, that's definitely worth talking about. Now, I should mention this. Shout out to Ricky, by the way. And I gotta mention this, that even Jim Cornette already had something to say. And he said, and I quote, "ridiculous to think that could happen," unquote. A wrestling fan that's been super supportive of Brody Lee as a wrestler, and everything that WWE could have done with him, and everything that he could have shown and offered for the wrestling business. For me, I wasn't just a fan of Brody Lee himself, like in character. I strongly respected him, as a human being. Like I had a lot of respect for Jonathan Huber. That's Mr. Brody Lee's real name. So basically, I had a lot of respect for Brody Lee, Luke Harper, and of course, Mr. Jonathan Huber. Particular episode was about World Class Championship Wrestling. And the episode title is, WCCW Wrestling's Lone Star Legacy. And because I am the Bear of Texas, and I do hail from the Dallas-Fort Worth area of the state of Texas, World Class Championship Wrestling was basically my territory as far as being a wrestling fan goes. Ladies and gentlemen, Ringside Chaos is available on all streaming platforms including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and YouTube.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Bearing Down and Gridiron, the Playmaker, joined by the Snowman, making his first appearance on Bearing Down and Gridiron to talk some college football with me. And speaking of which, this is where Snowman has fun at my expense. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Gridiron Roundup. And to see, here was our campus tour slate. As you see, we had an upset in Lawrence, Kansas, with the Kansas Jayhawks upsetting Oklahoma.
Thank
Texas
you, Kansas.
Texas sending a message to the Big 12 and
Mhm.
using BYU as that message. Georgia dropping 43 down in Duval against the Florida
Yep.
Gators. Oregon sending a message not only to the Pac-12 but to everybody else who thought they were done after losing to Washington
Uh-huh.
down in Salt Lake City. We had a shutout down in the ACC at
Yep.
Louisville, Kentucky. And speaking of Kentucky, the Kentucky Rockets took an L at home to SEC East rival Tennessee. Now,
Mhm.
let's jump right into it. The upset of the ranked teams. Number 6 OU suffered their first loss in Lawrence, Kansas as they got upset 38-33 by the Kansas Jayhawks. And sticking with the Big 12, Texas domination from start to finish over BYU 35-6. No man. We starting with the Big 12.
Mhm. I think Texas just got their warm-up game out of the way for the stretch run to possibly get them to the conference title game. And because of that, I have them in the conference title game, and they just I don't know. It's they need to fix the problems at quarterback because Quinn Ewers is out with an injury. They did good on this one, but I love the fact that Oklahoma got taken down by Kansas. Oklahoma went up 21-17 at halftime and took their foot off the gas. They regained the lead late in the fourth quarter, but then they allowed Kansas to march right down the field and score and win the game with less than a minute to go. And that was a game I was looking at. I was looking at covering. But watch Kansas. If y'all know anything about Kansas, when they are good in football, think of the year 2007 when they got close to Missouri, nearly upset Missouri in Kansas City. So this is going to be a good stretch run for Kansas.
What's up, Sam Shady from Shady Sports Network? Thank you for joining and watching today. Brent Venables. What is the side of the ball that you coach? Because if I recall correctly, when you was on Dabo Sweeney staff, I'm pretty sure you coached one side of the ball, correct?
Hmm. Yep.
If my memory serves me correctly, because I'm getting up there in age, I'm in my 30s now. But I do recall that you coach defense, right?
Supposedly. But see,
Where's the
I don't know either.
defense?
But see, I don't know either. I'm really up there in age. I don't
Where's
know.
the defense? I could have sworn when I saw the hire, I was like, well, I don't know how the offense gonna look, but Oklahoma damn sure gonna have a defense. That's for sure.
uh, no, no.
Like your defense couldn't get one stop. Like
And they
you
had
couldn't
3 shots.
you couldn't get one stop. Like I'm literally trying to figure out why the side of the ball that got you the head coaching job at Oklahoma ain't showing up. See, this is what Snowman doesn't see a lot because I'm only on his show once a week,
Right.
so he don't get to see this part of me a lot. Now you open the door for the team that you beat down in Dallas, Texas,
Yep.
the Red River Showdown in Texas, who smacked BYU around.
Yep.
They got a second chance at life.
Mhm.
And wait till I show
Mhm.
y'all the college football playoff rankings, and you see what the committee did to OU in Texas.
Oh
Wait,
dear.
wait till that.
Oh
Now,
dear.
I don't got nothing to say about Texas. Be right. You'll say what I say. Hey, the
No
world's
Brock
largest
Bowers.
outdoor cocktail party right
Mhm.
here in Jacksonville, Florida, Duval County. And it was the number one team in the land, the Georgia Bulldogs, going against their biggest rivalry, the Florida Gators. Now, before I get started, there was a lot of people who were mad because it. I'm gonna ask you this question, Snowman.
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you supposed to defend your team no matter what, or are you supposed to go with what your head is telling you?
Good.
Because not only me, but another guy who is actually well more known than me, or actually, matter of fact, beloved in Gainesville, Florida, right? In Gainesville, Florida. Tim Tebow, as you know, he does SEC Nation.
Yep.
They was in my city
Mm-hmm.
for this game, and they had Tim Tebow, and you know they had to make their pick.
Yep.
Tim Tebow picked the Georgia Bulldogs to win the game.
He sure did.
You know who I picked to win the game? I picked the Georgia Bulldogs to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
Why does people get up in arms all of a sudden like, how y'all gonna pick Georgia? Do you not see that team? Do you not see what kind of team we have? I'm gonna say this again, and I got it from the man himself, Lee Corso. I forgot what year it was, but it was the year Tim Tebow was the quarterback for the Florida Gators. Okay,
2007.
and it was a game in Tallahassee. It was
Mm-hmm.
the annual game, Florida and Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
College game day was there.
Yep.
Lee Corso said this. He said, "I love Florida State. Love them Seminoles.
Yep.
Oh, all that."
Mm-hmm.
He looked dead at the camera. But he said this. He said, "This is business."
Yes.
He put on the Gator headgear.
Mm-hmm.
Florida actually won that game, and they actually dominated that game, by the way.
Oh yeah, they did.
Like I said last week, this ain't personal. This is business.
This is business.
And I picked Georgia, and you see what happened.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
43-20.
And remember, Georgia was minus Brock Bowers. Didn't matter.
And me and Tebow still picked Georgia.
And Oscar Delp, watch him. Next year, watch Oscar. I'm telling y'all right now, watch Oscar Delp.
You know what happened? You know what Curry Smart did? Curry Smart pulled a Urban Myers.
Mm-hmm.
You know how? Carson Beck. Guess where he's from?
Jacksonville, Florida.
Hello. Number one team in the land did their thing. To my dismay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Snowman, how you tell me how it is when you know an ass whooping is coming and there's nothing you can do about it.
Not a thing.
You
Not
just
a thing.
know what's gonna happen, and you know you can't do nothing about it. You have to sit there and take it.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the worst feeling ever.
That's Florida. And I am being called away because my better half is saying meet her for dinner. So I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. I want to say thank you to you, Playmaker, for having me. I want to say thank you to the folks for taking in my knowledge. But I'm going to go have a date night. So I will see you all at a later time. Thank you all for having me. I appreciate it.
Go ahead, that's Snowman from Snowman in the Morning. I'll be seeing him next week.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we knew what was coming. We knew we was gonna lose this game. There was no way we was gonna win this game, and it showed. That's that. And then we head down to the game of the week, Salt Lake City. College game day was there. It was 13 ranked Utah hosting the 8th ranked Oregon Ducks. Loser of this one is pretty much done in the Pac-12 and in the college football playoff rankings. Oregon has had a hard time against Utah, but not this past weekend. Oregon sent the message, and the message they sent, Utah had no answers for the Ducks, 35-6 beating. Duke got shut out in Louisville. Oh my! I don't. Duke not having a starting quarterback is a problem. Now they won last night because they played last night. I got it before you right here. I got it for you right here. Hold on, let me go to it. They won like they hosted Wake Forest last night. They escaped at home, 24-21 over Wake Forest. But last week they Louisville put it to them. Louisville put it to them, and staying in the state of Kentucky, going to Lexington, Kentucky, where the Kentucky Wildcats hosted the Tennessee Volunteers, where the Tennessee Volunteers walked out with a 6-point win. Back and forth affair, and Tennessee was able to hold them off just long enough to get that win. Big win for them. But we're not done yet. UCLA chopped down Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffalo Shadur Sanders was taking a beating left and right. He was walking off the field with a limp. He was getting destroyed. And then Georgia Tech took down North Carolina. Mike Brown, what is going on with your team? You took an unexpected loss to the University of Virginia, who only had won one game up to that point, and now you're going to Atlanta and you involved in a shootout with the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. What is going on with North Carolina right now? What? Somebody give me some answers here. I need to know what's going on here. Somebody tell me something because I need to know. And then the big upset of the weekend. Number 11, Oregon State falling to Arizona. Oregon State, they put themselves in the dire straits of hole for losing that game in the Pac-12. Now, here are the CFP rankings here. Number 1, Ohio State. Number 2, Georgia. Number 3, Michigan. Number 4, Florida State. Those were the rankings that came out from the CFP. The committee they said Ohio State has the best resume so far, and that's why they are ranked number 1 ahead of the 2-time reigning national defending champions, the Georgia Bulldogs. Michigan is undefeated. They haven't played nobody, but their schedule gets tougher starting this month. They have Penn State, Ohio State, and I think they have a trip to Minnesota as well, which is never a fun place to go. Florida State, they have Miami coming up. I think that's probably their last big test is the Miami Hurricanes before they head down to the Swamp Thanksgiving weekend to take on the Florida Gators. That's about it for them. It's a lot of games to be played. You see Oregon, you see Washington, you see Oregon, Texas, Alabama, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Penn State, Missouri, Louisville, LSU, Notre Dame, Oregon State, Tennessee, Utah, UCLA, USC, Kansas, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Tulane, and Air Force. Here's all the teams that we're committed to really paying attention to right here. The top 6. 2 Pac-12 teams are both on the outside looking in. But like I said, there's a lot of football to be played left. Ohio State, they still got Michigan on the schedule. Same with Michigan, they got Ohio State, they got Penn State on the schedule. Georgia, they still have Missouri, they still have Tennessee, they still have Ole Miss on the schedule, and the way Georgia Tech is pulling off wins, Georgia Tech might be a problem. Florida State, it's really for Florida State is pretty much Miami, and I think it's pretty much Miami and Florida. That's about it for them. As I'm looking at this schedule, yeah. It's pretty much Miami and Florida, and they should be slated to the ACC championship game because they just doing things. Speaking of which, let's go to the standings right here. As you see, Florida State on top 6-0 in conference play, 8-0 overall, sitting at number 2 and looking good to be poised to go to the ACC championship game. To go against Florida State is the Louisville Cardinals, 4-1. Right now, 71 overall. Right behind it is the Virginia Tech Hokies. For some reason, I don't know how they are 3-1 in conference play. They are 4-4 overall. They non-conference schedule was ridiculous. Same with Georgia Tech. They are 3-2 in conference play, 4-4 overall, and they go by conference schedule. They go by conference wins in these conferences. So the fact that Virginia Tech and Georgia State are ahead of UNC and Duke is amazing to me. Good luck to that. And you see Clemson already down here 2-4 in conference play. Just abysmal. Just abysmal. That's the ACC. The Big Ten, we already know. Oh, the Big 12. Let's go to the Big 12 first. Oklahoma still at top of the standings at 4-1 in conference play, followed by Iowa State, who is 4-1. Oklahoma State 4-1. Texas 4-1. Kansas State 4-1. Kansas 3-2. West Virginia 3-2. Ooh, it's no clear cut favorite right now because what is going on here is a lot of football to be played and there's a lot of rooms for improvement. Oklahoma's not a clear cut favorite to make it to a championship game, but they better. Now let's go to the Big Ten. Michigan sits on top right now at 5-0. Ohio State 5-0. Penn State 4-1 with the lose to Ohio State. Then Rutgers, Maryland, Indiana, Michigan State. Nobody cares about those. The Big Ten West is up for grabs. 3-2 is Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, Nebraska. Then you have Northwestern at 2-3. Purdue and Iowa both at 1-4. It don't matter. Whoever wins the West gonna get their ass whipped by the team who wins the East, who is related to be between Ohio State and Michigan. As per usual. Let's head to the Pac-12. But the Pac-12, Washington sitting at 5-0 right now. USC 5-1. Oregon 4-1. USC and Oregon still have to face off. Washington and USC still have to face off. USC and UCLA still got to face off. Okay, you got Oregon State 3-2, Utah 3-2, Arizona 3-2, UCLA 3-2. I do believe Oregon or State still got to face off. It's a lot of games left in the Pac-12, so this ain't a clear cut deal. But Washington looks like the favorite thus far right now. And finally, the SEC in the East, Georgia controls their destiny at 5-0 in conference play. Missouri also could control their destiny because they have a date with Georgia coming up. Florida 3-2, Tennessee 3-2. Kentucky 2-3, and South Carolina and Vanderbilt nowhere to be found. In the West, Alabama undefeated 5-0, followed by Ole Miss 4-1. That one loss come to the Crimson Tide in Tuscaloosa. LSU 4-1. They one loss come to Ole Miss at Oxford, Michigan, at Oxford, Mississippi. That's gonna mean see Alabama and LSU are due to play each other, and then everybody else doesn't matter. So there you go. That is the gridiron roundup. We have a lot of football left to be played. So with that being said, another commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna go on a campus tour. The Playmakers Bar is proudly sponsored by Fanatics. Fanatics, the number one shop where sports fans across the world love to get their sports gear and fandom on. A wide selection of gears from every league, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, the NCAA, and of course, the WWE. Whether it is football, basketball, baseball, hockey, even soccer, golf, no matter what sport it is, there's sports appeal for every fan of every sport. Fanatics, where sports fans shop and official license everything. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And y'all seen the graphic. It's time to go on a campus tour. And to begin our campus tour, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start off in the Big 12 in Austin, Texas, where it's the 7th-ranked Longhorns hosting the 33rd ranked Wildcats of Kansas State. Big game, big noon kickoff, 12 p.m. on Fox. It's going to be a big one here. Texas wins. They keep in striking distance of making it to the Big 12 championship game. A loss to Kansas State. You just saw the standings not that long ago, and it is problematic for the Texas Longhorns as they get ready to exit the Big 12 for the SEC next year. From Austin, Texas, going up to Oxford, Mississippi, a big game in the SEC West. Number 10th ranked Ole Miss hosting Texas A&M. Even though Texas A&M is pretty far behind right now in the standings. They are 3-2 in play. And they need to make up some wins and have some team loses. But they are in Oxford, Mississippi to take on the Ole Miss Rebels. Ladies and gentlemen, I like I like to see this game. This is 12 p.m. on ESPN, right across from Kansas State, Texas A&M. So you got a couple of big games at the noon kickoff time slot. Big 12 SEC games to watch in the noon slot. From the noon slot, we head to the 3:30 slot, the lovely slot. Going to the Big 10. Maryland, ladies and gentlemen, will be hosting 11th-ranked Penn State. The Terrapins has not been looking good this season. The Terrapins have been struggling this season. There should be no reason for Penn State not to win this game. But we know how home field advantage works throughout the college football. Maryland 5-3 on the season with Penn State 7-1. It might not be a pushover for the Maryland Terrapins. They might come out ready to swing and handle business at home, defend home turf. But James Franklin, you lost another big game. You lost another game to Ohio State. You still got Michigan coming up. Handle business against Maryland, or you will find yourself in a deeper hole. From the state of Maryland, we head all the way down to Athens, Georgia. 3:30 the SEC on CBS. The second ranked and two-time reigning defending national champion, the Georgia Bulldogs, are hosting 12th ranked and surprising team of the SEC, the Missouri Tigers. It's gonna be interesting here. Both teams control their destiny. Georgia Bulldogs 8-0, Missouri 7-1. The winner of this game pretty much has the inside track to making it to Atlanta, Georgia for the SEC championship game. Georgia wants to go for that 3-3. Missouri wants to get back there for the first time in so many years when they first burst on the scene to the SEC. Big one over the hedges in Athens, Georgia. From Athens, Georgia, let's head to Stillwater, Oklahoma. It's Bedlam, ladies and gentlemen. The final Bedlam we know of because OU is coming to the SEC. So this one right here, I'm expecting fireworks left and right because this is the last and final time for the foreseeable future between the 9th-ranked Sooners of Oklahoma against the 22nd-ranked Cowboys of Oklahoma State. 3:30. ABC. It's gonna get nasty in Stillwater. Mike Gundy gets his last shot at the Sooners, and Brent Venables. He gets his second and final shot at Mike Gundy and the Oklahoma State Cowboys. These teams don't. These teams just don't hate each other. They can't stand each other. It's gonna get ugly. It's gonna get violent. But who comes out on top of the final bedlam? That will be this Saturday at 3:30 on ABC. Oklahoma, Stillwater, Oklahoma. It's going down. Don't miss it. And then game of the week, ladies and gentlemen. I know I didn't play the graphic, but let me play it for you. Tuscaloosa, Alabama, the SEC West Showdown, 7:45 on CBS. It's the rivalry that's been taking over college football. The 14th-ranked LSU Tigers are going in hostile territory to take on the 8th-ranked Clemson Tide of Alabama. Nick Saban circled this game. Remember, I told you he circled the game when he circled that game against Texas A&M last time. And you see what he did to him. He circled this game after what Brian Kelly and the LSU Tigers did to them in Death Valley last year. Nick Saban circled this game. Be very worried if you are the LSU Tigers. Be very worried because guess what? Nick Saban is ready. He is ready for payback, and it's in prime time. Yes, sir. Brad Lesnar, Gary Danielson are on the call. Alabama, LSU. Winner pretty much is going to Atlanta. Because guess what? Alabama already beat Ole Miss, even though Ole Miss beat LSU. Alabama wins, they pretty much like they going to the SEC championship game. LSU wins, they actually might put themselves closer to getting there with a pretty much tough game left to go for Ole Miss. So we should see on that one. And now, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of which, y'all saw Snowman early today. Thank you, Snowman, for coming on. This is the game he is calling. Saturday, 7:45. He has the pregame starting at 7 p.m. Kickoff is at 7:45. You just follow, go to youtube.com/at Snowman Multimedia. Get ready to watch the game and listen to Snowman call football like you never heard play calling done before. Play by play with Brian Snow, LSU, Alabama. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the extra point fan vote. And with 78% of the votes, ladies and gentlemen, you voted for or Oregon State going to Boulder, Colorado to take on Coach Brown and the Buffaloes. 10 p.m. ESPN is a nice one in the Pac-12. Oregon State trying to keep up with the top guns. But in Colorado, still trying to find himself 2 more wins to get bowl eligible for once. Can Coach Prime get 2 wins out of this schedule? Can Coach Prime find 2 wins? And those 2 wins got to be upsets because right now you have Oregon State, then you have Arizona next week, then you have Washington State the week after that, and then you finish the season at Utah. You're home to Oregon State. You're home to Arizona. You go to Washington State and you go to Utah. Can Coach Prime find 2 big wins left to be bowl eligible? And for Oregon State, they can't suffer another loss. Oregon State suffering another loss, it ends their season and a chance for a run at the Pac-12 championship. It's gonna be a hell of a fight in Boulder, Colorado. But let's see if Oregon State can handle business like the other teams have, like the Oregons have done, like the USCs have done. Handle business and get the job done against Coach Prime and Colorado. Quick break, because that was our campus tour. Quick break, come back. And I got to give you my picks. The Playmaker Spa is sponsored by Lids, Locker Rooms by Lids. Shop hats and official sports gear at Lids. Lids, the leader and #1 destination for hats, gears, and everything that moves you. Make it a perfect shop for fans to find official sports hats, merchandise, and gears. Represent your team, your town, and your style with a snapback, adjustable, fitted hat, or beanie from thousands of college and professional teams. Browse the very latest jerseys and t-shirts for the best teams out there. Liz has officially licensed professional and college sports teams apparel and hats featuring the hottest brands and trends. Shop online or visit one of the 100 stores across the country. Locker Rooms by Liz. And they jump right into it. Give me the Texas Longhorns to defend the home turf, get another big W over the Kansas State Wildcats. They keep their spot lit up going forward for a Big 12 championship matchup down in Jerry's World. Now that's Texas. Give me the old Miss Rebels to also defend their home turf against Jimbo Fisher in Texas A&M. Lane Kiffin gets another big win. He keeps his spot going in the SEC West, trying to keep it with Alabama. I'm hoping Alabama will slip up sometime, some way, so that Lane Kiffin can slide in there and take over. But hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, man. Lane Kiffin beats Jimbo Fisher. Come on, man. I'm working with Penn State. James Franklin can't lose this game. He can't. I don't see James Franklin losing this game on the road against Maryland. He does what he got to do. He gets the thing. He keeps the ship rolling in the right direction after that loss to Ohio State. James Franklin and Penn State handle business over Maryland. Woo, boy! I went back and forth on this one, but give me the two-time reigning defending national champions. Now, if this game was in Missouri, I might have picked Missouri. If I ain't gonna lie to you, Missouri's got a team. They've been looking good, but it's in Athens, Georgia. It's over the hedges. Rocking with the Bulldogs. They came out their best performance against my Florida Gators. The final bedlam for the known future. I picked Oklahoma to win the Big 12, and I'm sticking with the Sooners, okay? The Sooners go into Stillwater, Oklahoma. Brent Venables, he's cussing his team out for that performance that they had in Kansas. At Kansas, he cussing them out. He letting them know, and this is the final Bedlam. You better show up. You better send a message not only to Oklahoma State, not only to the Big 12, but to the playoff committee who put you ninth for your freaking loss to Kansas. Brent Vanderbilt and Oklahoma, and they sent a message using Oklahoma State and Mike Gundy as it. Game of the week. I don't go against Nick Saban at home. I don't pick against Nick Saban and Tuscaloosa. Give me Nick Saban over Brian Kelly. And by the way, Brian Kelly don't win big games anyway. He'll find a way to lose this game. LSU probably play good at first, and then Brian Kelly and his team will find a way to lose this game. Give me the Alabama Crimson Tide over the LSU Tigers. And then the fan extra point vote. Give me Oregon State. DJ Uiagalelei and that Beavers team will go into Boulder. They will hand Coach Prime another loss. That will be his fifth loss of the season. I don't remember the last time Coach Prime lost this many games in the season, but they will hand him his fifth loss, and he'll be going to the drawing board saying, "All right, next year we'll be better." This is plain and simple because I don't see 2 wins for Coach Prime to get them bowl eligible. I just don't. Oregon State, Arizona, Washington State, and Utah. I just don't see it. I could be wrong. I would love to be wrong because I want to see Coach Prime have success, but not this year. Not this year. So with that being said, here we go. Give me the Texas Longhorns. Give me the Ole Miss Rebels. Give me the Penn State League 9. Give me the reigning defending 2-time national champion in Georgia Bulldogs. Give me the Oklahoma Sooners. Give me the Alabama Crimson Tide. And for my extra point pick, give me the Oregon State Beavers. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you to Snowman for joining me one last time. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend. Y'all have fun. I'll let you know how I did and what we're going forward. For those of you who want to know, I went 5-1 last week. I am 36-18 on the season. Looking to continue to build on that momentum that I got going on. We'll find out next week. Until then, peace and love. Have a good one. You just experienced Bearing Down and Gridiron, hosted by Donnell, the Playmaker Silence, in collaboration with Arch Brothers Football. Bear Down and Gridiron is sponsored by Lids, Fanatics, and Paramount Plus. If you enjoyed today's show and would like to make a donation, you can donate via Cash App at $the Playmakers at $the Playmakers. Remember, Bearing Down and Gridiron is available on all podcast directories, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. And for Apple Podcast lovers, leave us a rating review. Let us know what you enjoy about today's episode that you're listening to. Tune in again next time for more Bearing Down the Gridiron, hosted by